Welcome to the Out There channel, live stream 279. I'll be with you after I do a few checks after the intro. And hopefully the audio is good. Hello everybody. Ken, Shelley, Simon, Susan, Philip. Who else has been in the side? There's been a few on pre-show. And sadly a few dropped off there. I don't trust Google stats. The lurkers go as soon as you go live. I don't think so. Going down. Super speed lift. Hello. Hello. Good to be back. Let's have some fun. No hardcore swearing. Be civil to each other. But you can be bad to the hoaxers out there. That's allowed. Yeah. So we're up to 279 streams already. It's not. I have the birthday cake ready for the 300 live stream once we get up there. So yeah, I feel like I haven't slept. Like I've been up all night, but we'll see how it goes. Yes. How's the audio sounding out there? Very quiet there. We had a few people popping on pre-show there. I'm just closing down some windows on the main screen here. So I better type up. That should reduce the CPU. Type up that one. Oh yeah, so I've joined the new system here. I'll talk about that in a minute. And I'll type up the welcome message here. Welcome to the channel live stream 279 Saturday. I tell you what, the week's been going quick. So this is my third show this week. It's quite amazing, really. But you can see my subs have dropped by 8 on YouTube. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Yet they've increased by 5 on BitChute. Debunks. I shouldn't say debunks, but anyway, I will. Red analysis. Yeah, my eyes ain't too great again. So yeah, Susan, we have a big storm today to hear. Oh god. Sound is perfect, good. Simon, alien addict. Alien addict can go and swim in the sea of acid, far as I'm concerned. He's always been a player in my book. He always said apologise for debunking security. Now he's big mates with him, and who else is he mates with? UFO Proof, and Third Phase on the Moon brothers now. And now he's getting 10 to 30 subs a day. So it's all working, the big network, you know, once you get a plug on a video. It didn't work for Nocturnal News though, because Tyler didn't promote him on a video, which is kind of funny. He's got his 2,000 subs, that's probably where it will probably stay. Unless he suckers in more of Tyler's ex-fans, yeah. Yes, so I thought LG released all his copyrights on Tyler, and his court, as we talked about, has finished last couple weekends ago, was it? Or last weekend, and still hasn't shown up on Twitter as far as I know. I haven't seen anything. And he hasn't uploaded any new content. And as far as I know, his Patreon page is still down. Let's just check that. Patreon. Is it .co? Or is it .org? Patreon.com. Was it? Is that the one? Where's the search thing? Find a creator. I think it's called the security. Probably won't come up on the list if it's blocked. Security 10, I think it is. I spelled it right. I thought it was that. Let's see, normally put it on the end. Didn't spell it wrong, did I? Because he was getting some good money from that, wasn't he? At least 2,000 a month, all the way up to possibly a lot more. Is that it? I suppose it's still down then. I think it's just, is it security 10 or security? Ah, right, there you go. That's security. Page is still under view. So why is it still under view if Linesground emailed and said it's okay now? So yeah, it doesn't make sense, does it? What are these guys saying? I keep spraying my head. Wait. Well, here it's starting to slowly get warmer again, I think. Wasn't frosty last night. Like the grass doesn't crunch as you walk across it when you're walking the dog. Yeah, we're probably going to be talking about some people that Alien Addict's been posting lately as well today. And we'll have a good laugh, I guess, at their channels. More frauds in the works, putting out disinformation. Yeah. What is that? What else was I going to say? I was going to say something else. So we'll probably be talking about Dolly the Experiencer, not Dolly the sheep, but and Ronny Dawson, the oil worker, and just have a look at his claims, and why I don't believe either of them, as well as looking at, first of all, I'll be looking at GUFON and the hovering plane, and because he talked about it yesterday, but wasn't sure. He didn't do any online research like I do, interactive research, and try and find the answers there and then, as you know. And then we'll be looking at alien addicts. Whenever I see his name, I think of alcoholic addict. AA meeting. Every time I see that alien addict name, it just that's all I can picture in my head, because he's done a lot of live streams where he's been drunk, and UFO Proof used to hassle him and talk behind his back, saying he's the #1 alcoholic UFO channel. And now they're good buddies. It's hilarious, really. So yeah, I've heard about this from another big channel, and normally I'll look at a video site if it's got big channel people moving off YouTube to it, because you know it may be supported better then and advertised more. And it seems to be very busy. It's called Brighton, and I've uploaded a few videos there. The key ones there on Tyler. Until he admits everything, I'm still going to promote that stuff that he hoaxed, leak of videos. And also Third Phase of the Moon is there, exposing their hoaxes, and also some of the best contactees we've had on the channel, Corey and Shelley so far, and Elle, paranormal stories, and his mother's job that she had in the secret underground base in America. And she said that the universe is full of aliens. Hinted to Elle, if you've listened to the interview, it's a really good interview. She hinted that Betty and Barney Hill was most possibly kidnapped, abducted, and she believed the story from what she heard, and that not all aliens are nice, which we think is the case as well. They certainly don't care about if you're in pain. They don't give you any antiseptic. So yeah, does that need to go up a bit? So here's, I need some subs to it, and I need some views for it. So if I get 1,000 views, I can upload another 100 videos, I think it is. At the moment it's only 50, which will get used up pretty quick. But you have to manually do it, so it's I spent like 4 hours on it last night. So I don't think there's any vital sub for it. It seems very bare at the moment, but they're meant to be adding super chat to it and maybe live streaming, which is basically what we want to happen. So yeah, you can search on UFO topics here. Where is it? There, UFOs, and there's quite a lot of pages that come up, so it looks like it's quite popular. It's probably as fast as YouTube actually, compared to the other alternatives using peer-to-peer at the moment. But you can see there's a lot of garbage up there already. And you can see it's got 23 pages there. I'll just click on the last one there. And oh yeah, I was meant to be doing ancient aliens as well today too. I'll just go. So look, there's 23 pages. That's what, 230 videos there on UFOs already for a small channel. 227. And I think Secure Team's on here too. Let me just have a look. Or someone's uploading his content. Hopefully mine are in the search now. They are too. So it's only had 5 views there, so I don't know if they've got many people on it. So yeah, I'm not too sure if that's Tyler or not. I haven't bothered playing them. But it looked like his videos up there. So there's 4 pages of Tyler. Videos with security in it, I should say. So you can have a look around that in your own time. But I think YouTube is on the downward trend, so just we need to look at alternatives anyway. So yeah, I need some subs on it anyway. At the moment it says 0. The worst thing about it is that it processes them, and I see the quality thing there talks about 540p, but it doesn't say 720p or 1080p. So I'm not sure if the quality is reduced there because it processes them instead of accepts the download from Google as standard. So is it reducing the size to their own bit rate, which is reducing the quality? So that could be the downfall of that site if that's the case. And then it has to be approved. I'm not sure what they look at, but they have to look at it and prove it for the listing. So yeah, whether there's going to be a perfect alternative video service to YouTube is yet to be seen. BitChute, as you can see, is growing in leaps and bounds, so we're almost up to 80,000 views there in a year and a half. It took me probably 2 years just to get 10,000 views on YouTube, just in comparison, so and it's only got a fraction of the users. Yeah, it does seem nice. It looks promising. But how robust it is from raids, copyright, it reckons it is. I don't think it's using peer-to-peer technology unless it's behind the scenes, using lots of seed boxes they own. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. There's a lot of selections out there at the moment. There's D-Life and D-Tube and other ones I haven't even looked at. But D-Life, I have got an account there, but they want you to spend money before you can be upgraded, before you can even upload a single video. So it doesn't make any sense. I can't understand D-Life. It's too complex for me. Using Bitcoins or whatever it is, their own coin system. And of course, LBRY is the other thing I'm using, whatever that stands for. I think it's their Bitcoin, something Bitcoin. But apparently you can go there and watch. If you get a Bitcoin account with them and go and watch videos, they actually pay you to watch videos, which is a strange concept. So you should go and check that out. All the links are in my About tab if you want to go and join. And of course then I'll get credit. If you say that I referred you, I will get credit and allows me to upload more videos there. So I got LBRAY there. And I'm on Subscribestar as well now, because people are not really happy with Patreon anymore, and Subscribestar it works with these alternative video services as long as they implement it, of course. Anyway, enough on general chat. I suppose better get on, but I'm sure people out there don't know about it all and will investigate it if they've got their own YouTube channel. And make sure they're safe from being purged. So first up, old Rich from GUFON Radio. He allows me to actually comment. I don't know if he's deleted anything. Oh no, they're still there. Allows me to comment now, but I'm not sure if he's quite happy with me commenting on his videos, because I'm always correcting them. But at least he's apologised for blocking me, because I didn't do anything that deserved being blocked, because I was actually quite civil in the debate. Turn that off. Okay, it should go queued to where I want it to go. Now, so it's all stuffed up, of course.
The show. That takes care of that. Well, that was fun. Wasn't that fun?
No.
No? It wasn't? It wasn't. You're right.
No, I'm right.
It was boring. It was. It was.
Was that loud enough?
I was going to talk about one more thing before we get out of here. But maybe we don't need to. We don't need to. Are we done? No, we've got one more. Oh, that's right. I've got one more thing to show you. Hold on. This is kind of cool. I think you'll
I think it's not
this.
queued to the right place here.
Just keeping on, with the Star Wars theme, I thought this would be very fun to show you.
Yeah, got to get
from the plane's movement. So what?
Actually, what is the Star Wars one? It's got me interested. So we need to go back to 109. Let's have a look at the Star Wars one. Where is it? Is that the Star Wars one?
Sorry, one thing left to do, guys.
Ooh, noisy.
Guys, and Jeremy, I really appreciate you trusting me with your handiwork, because this is one of the most beautiful X-Wings I've ever seen. That's right. May the force be with you.
Alright, they're the guys that got a Millennium Falcon and X-Wing a drone.
With you guys.
And also with you.
Ready?
Not very aerodynamic. The Millennium Falcon one off those guys, I don't know if he's got the link handy, is actually quite good. But I talked about that on Skinwalker Ranch. Remember, they were talking about the UFO looked like a Millennium Falcon, and I did some analysis on it and zoomed in, and I did an online search and found the big, huge half-man size drone that looks like a Millennium Falcon from Star Wars, and it looked identical to the picture, wherever it was, because I didn't really have a decent photograph of it. And I did that. Brandon Fugel actually released all the images and videos, like they claimed they're going to make a website so anyone could download it yet. I may have missed it, but he may have posted it about. If anyone knows, go and find out for us. We'll have a look at some of those videos, images again. Maybe be able to enhance it better. But there's always stuff to do, it's always stuff like that to find out whether they did release it. Okay, so I'll just play this thing with the hovering plane. I'll just play his clip first, and then I'll break it down.
No idea. That looks like a legitimate mist. We've seen these apparitions show up before on doorbell cams and security cameras for years. Not all of them are fake. As a matter of fact, most of these security cam ones, I think, are maybe half. I don't know. I really don't know the number. They could all be fake for all I know. But I have to take some things as legit. And this looks like one of those legit ones. Anyway, it's pretty cool. It's weird, okay? This next one I really enjoy. We talked about this before. The paused planes that are floating and flying.
Not expecting anything out of the ordinary. However, he quickly hit record when something truly bizarre began happening in the sky above his head.
This is weird.
Anyone who's been to a beach town in the United States knows that it's not uncommon to see planes flying overhead. Pilots of small aircrafts are regularly hired to tow large advertisement banners over the beach and boardwalk to attract customers. However, this particular plane drew the attention of beachgoers because it suddenly stopped flying. In the middle of the air, the plane simply stops moving for several minutes.
Hey, Chemical, how's it going?
So the reason this is the most interesting one of all, and I thought, well, maybe the guy's moving to the left, and every time he moves to the left, he's pushing the plane further this way.
Wrong.
But for a minute and a half, that's how long he videotaped it for. And then he stood on the corner here. You don't hear it. It's not that high. This may be about 500-700 feet up. Then all of a sudden you hear the engine.
Could be 1,000.
And it starts to move. All right, I know. You can see the banner moving.
The physics of flight make this
bizarre.
Impossible. These type of planes need to be moving forward to produce the necessary lift to keep the plane in the air. To make matters even more strange, the banner being towed stays suspended in the air behind the plane.
And it moves.
The air currents from the plane's movements are what allow these banners to stretch out in the air. So if the plane isn't moving, the banner should be hanging straight down. Viewers of the video have compared the mysterious footage to a glitch in the Matrix.
I'll break it down in a minute.
Some have suggested that high winds pushing the plane backwards while it attempts to move forward could have caused the bizarre phenomenon.
Can't happen.
But many are skeptical.
That can't happen.
Was this a simple optical illusion?
Wrong,
or is there
Richie.
something paranormal
Richie
happening in the
Rich.
sky?
No, that's paranormal. That to me doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
How does that happen? But if there is a headwind,
Here we go.
let's say, do you
He's
think it
almost
was
there.
above 50 miles an hour?
Bingo.
I don't think the winds were above 50. You can hear them on the ground. It looked like it may have been 20 on the ground.
No.
Let's say it's 60 up in the sky. That plane is moving at least over 130 miles an hour, probably 150. So it should be moving. We should be able to hear it.
We
But
do.
I don't think a plane can be pushed backwards. I guess it could if there's enough wind pressure that would allow the plane to be in that position. But for almost...
Yeah, so let's put him out of his misery here. So I did a quick search for Piper planes and banner planes. As you can see here, is it possible for a small plane to hang in headwind? And straight away you can see at the top of the thing here, we got yes. It's possible for a Cessna 152, a 50-knot headwind and 30 degrees of flaps with enough throttle to counteract the forces of air resistance. The aircraft could comfortably hover in the air with the ground speed being 0. So who would have thought that? A hovering plane is possible. But when you talk about one of those Piper planes, they're really, really tiny planes, and even if you try to fly that into a tornado, it would be torn to bits, right? So you can see here's other posts. Yes, it's possible to fly backwards if you get a strong enough headwind. So these are pilots out there that are answering. Relative velocity and ground reference, NASA. So yeah, they do all these kind of studies. Obviously, they've got to launch a rocket into space and space shuttle and all that, and know there's got to be problems with atmospherics and wind. You know how they cancel the launches if it's too windy? Well, this is the reason why. It can cost a lot more fuel to get up there and throw it off course and all sorts of problems. So it just takes a wee bit of research instead of just trying to guess it. At least try to find the answers online as you're doing it. So next thing I did is actually tried to find the original video, and hey presto, it took me about an hour, but I found it. And now you can hear how gusty it is, and you can actually see the plane is got the motors going on full tack, and you can actually then see it slowly is moving in places, so it is making a wee bit of a headway. So let's unmute that sucker. Look how windy it is.
Está quieta. Mírenla, miren esa avioneta. Yo no sé. Está planeando.
It's a great trick. But you can see it's really, really windy there. Look how violent the trees being blown around here. So you can see how the tree here was blown around. You can see how the original fraud or mystery website was cutting it. They cut a lot of it off and tried to make it a bit more suspense, right? And got rid of all the visual clues and sound clues that you need to see if they're BSing you or not, right? You got to remember this is always near a beach as well, and roundabouts near the edge of the coast you get these high rises, right, with the air currents go really, really crazy as it bends up from the sea onto the landmass as well, and you can hear it here. It's really real strong wind coming off the sea. But you can see the plane is really, really slowly moving, but it's very hard to see. You can see how much longer the clip is as well.
Totalmente quieta. Parece un helicóptero. Entiendo, un helicóptero.
Much longer clip, and you can see it almost looks like it might be going backwards a wee bit even. Hear the plane motor, it's going. It's really trying hard. Now it's moving. Very slowly though. So I put the link to it in the thing if you want to go and watch it again. But you can see there that one debunks it, and we got a lot more clues there. So the hovering plane is solved, and we learn something new every day. But it's not the only one that people have caught in the sky. It looks like it's sort of hanging. I found a couple more here, so I'll just play them and see what you think of them. And I might see if Richard's got that other video as well for the Million Falcon, because that was quite good. Probably can do a search and find it online. Was it here? Probably there, is it? Might have to come back and search it. That's what I might include it. It looked pretty good because they had the camera in the cockpit and it looked like it was flying around. So what do you think of this one here? Hopefully we won't get a copyright claim on these. This is going to be like a copyright claim day probably. So we'll see how we go. It should be fair use anyway, but you know what it's like. We want to debunk what's in the videos, or promote the video, review it, you know, see if it's correct. So
like a big one as well.
There's going to be a plane here. It looks like it's hanging in the sky.
Look at it, for real. It looks like it's just kind of hovering there. It's wild. I almost want to stop on the side of the road so you can see. It's barely moving. It is crazy.
So what do you reckon on that one?
That plane looks like it's just hovering.
Yeah, there's not much reference points here. I think he's probably traveling at the same speed as the plane's coming into land, actually. And what I'm seeing here is what looks like an optical illusion.
Yeah,
So
for
this,
real, looks like it's just kind of hovering there.
So we've got trees to go by.
It's wild. I almost want to stop on the side of the road so you can see.
See, this is where you need to get out the car and start filming, right? And just see if it's slowly moving in the sky. That would sort of debunk that straight away. All we got is the clouds to go on here, but it looks to me like they're moving at the same speed as the plane's moving, so it looks like it's stationary. It's that sort of perspective thing, right? And just as we get past the pivot point, we might actually see it go faster. So yeah, I don't know. Why is it playing the next one? I thought I'd turn that sucker off. I hate that. Let me just pause that. Is that the right one? So Jumbo Jet. Jet hover. It is a good effect though, isn't it? The Denver airport is supposed to have secret underground things. Yes, I talk about that in my Skinwalker Ranch playlist. If you go and have a watch of it, I talk about the Denver airport and the connection to the ranch, which no one's done before. So here's another one. This one, to me, you can see it moving because you got the clouds as a reference.
Look. Yeah, but it's not moving. How is a plane doing it? How is a plane sitting there?
Okay, to me that one's moving because you can see the cloud cover behind. And it's getting lower as well. You can see that one is coming down to land. Get off the thing, man. You're making a hell of a noise. That one needs to be muted. Terrible filming. But anyway, there's another one. Looks similar to the last one. But that one there looks like it's slowly moving. Second jets. Have a look at their channel. I don't know if they got any other ones up there. But yeah, it would be like explained by science, I guess. So it would be if your car's moving at the same speed, that's going that way. And you're going that way. Bendy. And if you're going at the same speed, it looks to your position relative, it's going to look like it's hanging in the sky. I don't know what you'd call that, but obviously optical illusion. I wonder if someone's can actually do an experiment and actually prove that. Sounds like one for Mick West to do, isn't it? Well, that seems to start up alright. We'll keep that sort of going. Minimized. So hopefully that Richard one is debunked. Unlike the jumbo jets, there wouldn't be a headwind that would probably keep them hovering. It'd have to be quite a fast headwind, even with the flaps down, because they're like flying bricks, aren't they? So it has to be an optical illusion. Now people think we're living in a matrix. That's kind of funny. But anyway, what's the next one? Oh, Ancient Aliens, was it? I got some pictures up. So this guy here is just a BS liar. It's probably making millions of dollars, right? It's amazing how popular this show is, and people don't even understand how many lies these people tell on the show and just make up stories, and they reference each other. There's not actually any evidence or proof of what they're saying. So we'll just go over and we'll play a clip from that. I think that was the next one we're meant to be doing. And then we'll look at the other stuff. So it's called Ancient Aliens Debunked Complete Version. It's actually quite long, but we'll play probably 5 or 10 minutes of it. It's a must-watch one, really. It's about moving the stones and the weight of them. Now, I've covered it on my own live streams in certain places as well. I tried to do a decent one, and I had that mic problem with the crackling noise. Hopefully it's not doing it today. And I couldn't fix it at the time because I didn't know it was a bug in the mixer. And how to get around it. So let's see if I can find the spots.
Knowledge of this light was kept is the same one.
I'll just find the spot that I need to play it from.
Then the Romans came along and basically perfected the practice. The rule of thumb in retaining walls, even today, is the bigger and heavier the stones, the better the retaining wall. Also, the stones needed to be in as big of sections as possible.
No
in other
closed
words,
captions,
huge
unfortunately.
sections of uncut stone. It's no coincidence that some of the biggest single stones in the ancient world, besides Baalbek.
Actually, I might just probably too late, but I might just deepen his voice a wee bit. I think he should be okay, but you never know. You want to go back and watch the full show anyway. It's too long to play today. So they cover pretty much everything that you want to know here, really. That they don't tell you on the Ancient Aliens show, which makes complete sense in my book.
Are also used in retaining walls, and by the Romans as well, as we will see. Retaining walls were especially important if there was a lot of soil erosion at the site, or if the platform you were trying to build was on a steep incline. At Baalbek, the platform was built right on the side of a huge hill, so for that reason alone, it would require a retaining wall if they intended to make a large level platform. But if you added to that a soil erosion problem, you would have two very good reasons for a huge retaining wall at Baalbek. So does the area around Baalbek have a problem with soil erosion? The answer is yes, probably one of the biggest in the world. You can see evidence of soil erosion all around the Baalbek site. The soil from the top of the hill has been sliding down the hill into the valley below for hundreds of years. One of the leading causes of soil erosion is deforestation. If an area that once had trees has been completely cleared of those trees, the rain no longer will have anything to slow down its velocity. Normally, the rain hits tree branches and the thick foliage that accumulates on the forest floor over time. Also, the soil is kept in check by the root systems of the trees, which hold the soil in place.
I'll just skip it a wee bit.
At Baalbek. Another project of similar magnitude was beginning by the Roman client king Herod the Great in 19 BC.
They're talking about the
Herod,
big,
using Roman
massive
techniques, renovated the
foundation
Temple Mount
stones.
to earn favor with the Jews, who viewed him as a Roman proxy, not a Jew. The expanded version of the temple was double the size of the original, but in order to make this expansion, he had to incorporate part of the hill to the northeast, which meant that he had to construct a massive retaining wall in order to hold back the force of the earth in order to build the massive platform. There is a portion of this retaining wall still standing today, and it contains the second largest set of single stones next to Baalbek. Just like Baalbek, there are several of these stones lined up to form the wall and to provide the weight and size needed to hold back the earth. They call the 4 largest stones the master course. The weight of the heaviest one is 630 tons, only a little over 100 tons less than Baalbek's biggest stone, and no one denies that these stones were cut, moved, and lifted to perfection using Roman and local techniques. As a side note, it's tempting to think that the holes visible in these stones were used for lifting, but these holes were cut after the stones were placed. They were used to hold plaster in place for certain water projects, and only go a few inches deep. Anyway, is it really logical to believe that the Romans could cut, move, and lift 630-ton blocks for retaining walls just fine, but if you added another 100 tons, it would require alien technology? We know that the Romans, about this same time, had taken a liking to Egyptian obelisks. They started dragging these obelisks back to Rome in large numbers, and Rome was hundreds of miles by land and sea from Egypt, whereas Baalbek was less than a mile from the quarry. Some of these obelisks were almost 500 tons, so the Romans had a lot of opportunities to get good at moving stones about the same size and shape of the trilithon stones. There are even Roman descriptions of the process of moving obelisks.
This is very interesting
by
about the
Marcellinus
cranes.
Paulus, as well as reliefs such as the one on the bottom of the Theodosius obelisk in Istanbul. The ancient Roman writings of Marcus Vitruvius Pollio describe in detail many of the Roman technological advantages, like pulleys, which would reduce the force needed by half for each pulley used. He even described their ingenious way of moving stones by constructing huge oak wheels on either end of the block, whether they were round like pillars or huge rectangular stones like the trilithons. They
And
would then be
rollers.
pulled by oxen to the site.
Rock rollers
So
so
what
they
about
don't
the
get
lifting
crushed.
of the trilithon stones at Baalbek? Some make the point that the trilithon stones do not have Lewis holes in them like many of the other Roman stones at Baalbek. Lewis holes is the name for the holes that the Romans would drill in the stones for lifting with their cranes. Yes, the Romans had cranes, and although their cranes only had a 5-ton capacity, often they would combine many of them together, which would obviously give them a greater capacity. So why don't these 3 stones contain these holes, like all the rest of the stones at Baalbek? Well, first of all, I wouldn't be so sure that they don't. No one has ever seen what is on the ends of these stones. It may very well be that they decided against a straight-up or dead lift of the trilithon stones because of their weight, and instead decided to lift up only one side of the stone. You would really
That
only need
makes
to lift it
sense.
high enough and long enough to get even the smallest brace underneath it, because at that point you would have a number of mechanical advantages and therefore options. For example, watch as this man
I've talked
makes
about
a
this
Stonehenge
before.
in his backyard all by himself using a simple counterweight method.
I've tried to do this without any mechanical machinery at all. I've used mostly sticks and stones for my equipment. No pulleys, no hoists, no metal levers. Just try to use gravity too, I believe is my favorite tool.
Whoop. The first goal is getting this block 3 feet off the ground.
In order to move it up to this point, I just rock the block back and forth, adding weight to that end, and that opens a gap on this side, and just slide a board in. Then I add the weight to that end, there it goes, and slide a board in on this end.
This shoring box acts like a jack, slowly raising the block.
But it's not really even necessary for them to have...
So the complete video that he used in that is actually really good. You need to go and watch it, really. Not sure if you can find it still, but he actually shows how he tips the whole concrete block up so it's standing up like Stonehenge is, and he shows how to use that crane to lift up and put the cap one on top of 2 other ones already upwards. And he does it all without any machinery. Just wood and wooden blocks, and if you want to do bigger weights, you could just put stone wedges in, which don't crumble. You know, use really hard rock, and if it crumbled anyway, it still would cause unevenness where you could rock it still. But like I said, if one man can build Stonehenge by himself, just using simple physics techniques, sort of discounts anything to do with aliens.
Been lifted. A French paper written by Jean-Pierre Adam meticulously details how the stones could have been moved using the specifications provided by Marcus Vitruvius Polio by constructing roads underneath the stones on rollers, and the roads were raised to lead to the exact place of their placement, which was easy at Baalbek because of the terrain, so it wouldn't require any lifting, and then using man-powered drums and a system of capstans to pull the stones along the road.
So they got these big long rollers underneath, made of stone, which then they got some anchor points on the end, so they could pull it out on the last, at the end, this end here, I suppose, roll it underneath, and it just drops into place. And you can see here little pictures of little men all pulling, and it doesn't need too many men apparently to do that. Using a slight slope, 20 men. But they also made clip-on wheels. So if they made a block like this, they would have little, in quarries they found these little clip-on wheels that are half a wheel each that would go around the blocks themselves, and put one either end, and it would turn it into a cart. And because they're concrete blocks, they can hold a lot of weight, and they just bind them with rope in the center. It's got a little carve into the wheel, stone wheel, and this time lash them together. They had really strong rope, like they use on ships, even, really huge round 1 foot round ones. And they could pull along any with oxens or elephants, any of these blocks. Of course, they probably had hundreds of years to build the things.
This method would have only required 144 workers to accomplish. It's also helpful for people to remember that the largest stone ever moved in the world is the so-called Thunderstone in Russia, moved in the 1700s using no modern equipment. This stone is 1.5 tons larger than the largest trilithon stone, and we know that moving it didn't require any alien technology. Well, what about this claim? What's really interesting about Baalbek is it's always been known as the landing place. There's an actual text from Sumerian times called the Epic of Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh actually claims to have seen rockets descend and ascend from Baalbek, the landing place. These claims come directly from the writings of Zechariah Sitchin, and they are totally untrue. Baalbek was not called the landing place, and the Epic of Gilgamesh never speaks of rockets ascending and descending anywhere in it.
If you're going to make these assertions, I would want the passage. I want to see the passage in Gilgamesh that names Baalbek specifically. I'm naturally skeptical that there is such a passage, but if you're going to make this claim, you have to be able to establish with certainty, not even just a general region. You have to establish with certainty that these are the stones, or that these stones are what is being
Didn't say catch, haven't seen you around here for a long time.
Sitchin, when making this claim in his book, never tells the reader where they can find this in the Epic of Gilgamesh.
No, it's all explained in this show. You should just have a watch of it.
Yeah, I have personally found the writings of Sitchin very frustrating from the perspective of a scholar.
They used to make channels from the Nile up to the building site, and they used to float the big blocks on reed boats, believe it or not. And also in South America, and they actually have proven it with underground buried channels. Once they built the city, they filled in the channels from the mountain stream where they quarried the big blocks. Again, I've covered that in previous live stream.
explorer and an academic, which is what I am. It's sort of reflexively what I look for. It's very hard to follow his trail because he just doesn't cite sources. Even if he cites a source, for instance, an ancient text, he doesn't give you sort of the chapter and verse. He doesn't give you the tablet numbers, the line numbers, and I have to look at it and say it's either really lazy or he doesn't want you to be able to check up on him. It's one or the other.
I will link the actual section of the epic as well as a link to the online resources to check the Sumerian text for yourselves at the website ancientaliensdebunked.com. Nowadays, all the Sumerian tablets, including their own dictionaries, are searchable online. Yes, the Sumerians wrote their own extensive and detailed dictionaries, so we don't have to trust Sitchin or anyone else. We can basically just ask the Sumerians what they thought a word meant. And it becomes painfully obvious to anyone that cares enough to look that Sitchin was at best totally incompetent as a translator, and at worst a scam artist. See SitchinIsWrong.com to begin your journey in losing any confidence in the so-called translations of Zecharia Sitchin. In conclusion, the Trilithon stones are part of a necessary retaining wall, not a foundation, and such walls were common to the Greeks and Romans. The retaining wall was not part of the simple, original, much smaller temple at Baalbek, and we know from other retaining walls of similar size, built by the Romans at the same time and in the same area, that they were more than capable of moving and placing stones of that size and shape, also evidenced by their ability to move obelisks. This is especially true if you gave them over 200 years in which to do it. We will look at Incan megalithic sites like Machu Picchu all in one segment, because Incan stonemasonry was all done more or less the same way. In regard to Incan building, Ancient Aliens focuses most of its attention on the curved or beveled edges of the stones. They say that it looks like the edges of these stones were melted. Notice as we listen to them build the case for this, that the reason they believe this is true is based entirely on the way the stones look. There are signs in many of these stones that show very large amounts of thermal heat
Liar, liar.
have been applied to mold the stones in such a way that they fit perfectly, and so it really does raise a lot of questions. If you look at the style the Sacsayhuaman wall was built, the blocks look as if they've been molded like putty. If you can mold stone into place, then all of a sudden, as crazy as this sounds, it makes more sense. Now, melting granite or any other stone and reshaping it would leave unmistakable evidence in and on the stones themselves. In other words, if the rocks were melted, it would be easily provable. It would not be a matter of what the stones look like. It would be a simple yes or no question. Ancient Aliens skips this step of proving or disproving their theory.
Of course.
Instead, they assume that the rocks were melted based on the look of the stones and move on to the step of trying to figure out who would have the technology to melt stones.
I have a stone torch, which I use for sometimes shaping granite, and I mean, it generates a temperature of in excess of 3,000 degrees. 3,000 degrees. That's a lot.
When we look back at the ancients, and we see a technology that they couldn't possibly know, there's only two possibilities of that. Either God did it, which we really don't think happened, or some high-tech civilization from another planet came and showed them how to do it, and took their materials and tools.
How about all the other possibilities?
I think there's at least one more possibility that Mr. Dunn may have missed. Every shaped stone at any Incan site has what archaeologists call pit marks or pit scars. They occur when stone hammers are used to quarry and shape the stone. In addition, archaeologists have found a huge number of Incan stone hammers at the quarries, and almost uniquely to the Incans, they are found at the building sites too, because the Incans only rough cut the stones at the quarries. They did the finish work on site, so the stones would perfectly fit the stones around them. Well, how did the Incans accomplish these beveled edges? They used a smaller gauge stone hammer for the outer section. The evidence for this can be seen on every single stone that has these edges. you can see that the pit scars are much more numerous and smaller on the edges, showing that more blows with a smaller stone was used to achieve the detail work. Another reason that this is no mystery to archaeologists is because there are a large number of stones in various stages of construction in the ancient Incan quarries. These stones reveal that indeed the Incan stonemasons were using some of the most basic tools, even for their time. If you would like to learn more about the details of this, I'll link you to some peer-reviewed papers that can tell you more than you'd ever want to know, including details of experiments done. For example, a single scientist in 90 minutes accomplished similar cuts with similar tools. And all of this makes what Dunn says here one of the most off-the-wall things ever said in the Ancient Alien series.
Busted.
I can't help but think that whoever was behind this thought the process through from beginning to end. They didn't quarry the rock and then decide how the heck are we going to transport this. They knew from beginning to end what needed to be done with whatever techniques and technology they were going to use. In industry today,
now the next bit's a bit more interesting. It's about the pyramids again.
Simple, stupid.
Let's
Based on his
see.
experience, Mike Dunn believes that.
Let me just pop on and see if I can find
some
it.
controls right here. Gestures are common.
Maybe I missed it. About
That just isn't what
the chambers.
Greens.
Yet nowhere on the ceilings is there even the
Maybe it
slightest
was at the
evidence
start.
of soot or
Let's
smoke
see.
residue.
Using a huge variety of methods. Be placed between the saw, including a number of well-respected Egyptologists and pyramid experts.
Oh, here we go.
But as of 2000,
this is quite interesting.
See why people are looking for alternatives. While doing research for this documentary, I came across a new theory about the pyramid's construction that I had not heard before. At first I planned to mention it only briefly, but the more I heard of this theory, the more convinced
This makes
I
so
became
much
of its
sense,
validity.
this segment,
It
how
was
they
proposed
built the
not
Great
by an
Pyramids.
Egyptologist, but by an eccentric French architect named Jean-Pierre Houdin. And if Jean-Pierre is correct, knowing how the blocks were raised in the pyramid also happens to explain some of the other mysteries, like the purpose for the odd-shaped Grand Gallery, as well as the purpose of the granite blocks above the king's chamber, and why there were 3 burial chambers cut at different levels in the pyramid, 2 of which were unused. I will very briefly explain this theory, but I highly encourage you to visit the links at the website on your screen, because the specifics of this theory are something that any pyramid enthusiast should be very familiar with, in my opinion. The basic idea is that there was an internal ramp in the Great Pyramid, and workers dragged the blocks through it until they reached the corners, at which point the block was repositioned for another team to pull it up the next ramp. Also, the exterior limestone blocks with the polished finish would have been positioned and aligned first to ensure geometric accuracy, and then the sandstone blocks would have been positioned behind them as filler. This would mean that all the internal chambers, like the Queen and King's chamber, were built as the pyramid progressed upwards in the light of day. This internal ramp theory, unlike some of the others, is actually supported by quite a lot of physical evidence. For example, in the 1980s, a French team, looking for hidden chambers, conducted a full-scale gravimetric survey of the Great Pyramid, kind of like a giant X-ray map of the entire pyramid. They actually found evidence of this internal ramp through their study, but they had no idea what to think of the spiral pattern they saw at the time, so they simply filed it away until they heard about Jean-Pierre's internal ramp theory 14 years later. In addition, there is this notch high up on the Great Pyramid, which, according to Jean-Pierre, rests exactly on the 7% grade where you would expect to find the internal ramp, and would be at the exact place where the workers would have lifted the blocks and changed the direction for the pullers. Bob Breyer, an Egyptologist who was working with Jean-Pierre, was only allowed a few minutes to survey this notch and take a few pictures and measurements. They found that there was indeed a large space behind these stones, and they made extensive computer models with the pictures that were taken. As of 2012, the team is still waiting for clearance from the Egyptian authorities to conduct a full-scale survey of this notch.
Of course, they won't be allowed.
More interesting than this is the purpose for the Grand Gallery and the granite stones above the King's Chamber. I mention them together because, according to Jean-Pierre, they are intimately connected. First, it's important to know the main difference between the Great Pyramid and the other two pyramids at Giza is that the Great Pyramid's burial chamber was inside the pyramid. The other two were underground, cut directly into the bedrock, which meant that in those two pyramids, they did not have to worry about the hundreds of thousands of tons of stone above it collapsing onto the tomb. The Great Pyramid was different. Its chambers were in the middle of the pyramid, and because of this, the designer had to get creative to prevent the stones from collapsing in on the chambers. In earlier pyramids in the area, this had been accomplished using a stone roof that came together at an apex, which distributed the weight of the blocks away from the chamber. But
amazing
for the Great
technology,
Pyramid,
really.
the designer wanted to
Working
be
out
more
all those
ornate,
angles to the
opting
stars and
for
stuff.
a flat roof in the king's chamber, which would have easily collapsed if he didn't find a way to distribute the weight of the stones above it away from the roof. He ingeniously added a series of large granite blocks, spaced out evenly above the chamber, capping those stones with the same apex roof idea from the earlier pyramids, which distributed the weight safely away from the king's chamber ceiling. This did indeed solve the problem of the weight of the stones collapsing the chamber, but it caused another problem. How could you get those granite stones up there for placement? They would have been too big for the internal ramp, and too heavy even at a 7% incline. For the solution, we look to the Grand Gallery. The Grand Gallery has puzzled Egyptologists ever since it was discovered. It's such an odd shape, and it doesn't seem to make sense to construct it the way it's constructed if it's simply a path to get from point A to point B. This has led to much speculation about its purpose. Jean-Pierre has proposed that the Grand Gallery was used as a massive counterweight system, where a wooden trolley was loaded with stones and rigged with ropes, and was used to provide the force to lift the heaviest objects. Basically, it was the equivalent of a freight elevator. There's actually a lot of physical evidence for this too, and it explains all kinds of peculiar details about the Grand Gallery. For example, the odd holes in the so-called benches of the Grand Gallery were used to connect a wooden guide system for the trolley. It also explains why there are remnants of grease as well as scratches along the bottom of the chamber where the trolley would have rubbed against the stone. It was apparently lubricated to make it run smoother. It explains the odd way the stones were worn at the top of the so-called step of the Grand Gallery, exactly where the ropes would have had to be. This area has now been cemented over to make a step, but you can see in the old pictures what it looked like when the first explorers arrived.
Very
this
interesting.
freight elevator would have required a small external ramp, which there is some evidence for, and even those who oppose the long, single ramp theory agree that there probably was a small ramp at the beginning of the construction. This ramp would have been dismantled after the completion of the king's chamber, and the stones would have been dragged up the internal ramp to finish the rest of the pyramid. Jean-Pierre and his team have made a lot of converts to this idea, including a number of well-respected Egyptologists and pyramid experts. But as of 2012, they are still in the final stages of being approved by the Egyptian.
Okay, he also talked about moving the big blocks somewhere. Let's see. We got no transcript. He said they actually had pictures on the wall of them being on ships and stuff like that. And pictures of where they found canals going up to the pyramids themselves. But it's all in here. Talking about how they moved the massive blocks. I don't know if I can pin that part. I'm sort of skimming through it, as you can see. Probably in trouble with copyright already. Probably missed it. It's only a small segment on it, but I have covered it in the past. Like you probably could search it and probably find some references to it. Moving blocks on Canal, Egypt. See what comes up. Images. So yeah, they got pictures like these ones here of lots of men. But is that talking about the boats? Oh, here we go. We've got sleds. Moving large objects, sleds. But they did have some pictures of how they built things. We've got some pictures of the reed boats. Is that one of them? Oh yeah, it looks like it's one of them. You can see they got the blocks on big reed boats. Probably can find something better than that though. Egypt. Here's an example here. Stone blocks using 2 reed boats. Let's see if it opens up more. Building the Great Pyramid, so I might just post that one down here. I did cover it in my older videos. Moving blocks. It's no mystery really, man can do it. Even back in those times. There you go. Men pulling the boat on a canal. I suppose that's like statues, maybe. And it can hold quite a lot of weight, believe it or not. 90-ton load here with just 2 reed boats. They've actually duplicated it and done it in experiments to see how they could do it. And also they've recently done the South American one too, seeing what a single reed boat could carry, and it's quite amazing what weight it can hold up. But there are pictures, you know, that they find on walls. There's another one with 2 obelisks. But there are some Egyptian pictures somewhere. Wall pictures. Is that another one? Makes you wonder if they got to South America, the Egyptians, if they were able to do that. It's quite amazing. But yeah, Joss Gates did an episode with the South American one. If you want to go and dig that up, go and watch it. There are pictures of them moving stones using canals. I don't think ancient man was so stupid after all. So yeah, did I post that link already? I think I have, haven't I? I'll post it again just to be sure. Ancient aliens debunked. There's a heap on there. Also about the ropes. I don't know if we can find anything on ropes. It's about Egypt. That's not how you spell it, is it? Egypt. And ropes. Let's have a look, see what comes up. So there you go, they've got various sizes here. Egyptians, art of laying rope. Well, it looks like Egyptians, but I don't know. What's that one? It's got a hand. Got rope in the hand. I guess that first one might be the one we're after. What does it say there? Ancient rope making. Anyway, it's on the documentary. He shows some pictures of it. We're meant to finalise with GUFON here now of the Millennium Falcon. Was it on this one? Looks like it'd be easy to find it. I don't watch all his, I just skim it. Is that the one? Might be the one. Oh, what's going on? Well, it's talking about drones anyway.
Getting messages. I don't know. It's okay. It's Thursday. Tomorrow's the big show. All right, here we go. This is amazing. Now, you see how I see that? That guy inside, I don't think he has any control of anything. He's just a passenger. They were having problems with the yaw. So they go and they readjust it.
So that's like on that TV show, what's it called? Westworld, where they're flying around on these super large drones. It kind of makes sense, really. Why couldn't build a passenger size one? But Google's got something wee bit better than that. But it can run without vertical lift all the time. It can use Aerofour as well. And they're called Sky Taxis, and they're testing them out in New Zealand at the moment.
Because it was kind of like it was trying to, the faster they went, it wasn't working so when it loads up. So you guys can check that. No gas. I think.
Wasn't the one I was after. Oh,
How's
here we
it feel,
go.
Maddie?
Finally.
Is it flying level?
It's new level, dude. You're
a little bit nose up.
Wow.
Nerd, how's it look, bro?
That looks unreal.
You can hold a little.
So I've talked about these before, the Millennium Falcon drones. Drones. And you can see there's lots of videos on it. He's probably picked one of these ones. They're quite big. They've got small ones as well as big ones. And I just wonder if, so you can see here, they call it the XL one, but I reckon they got bigger ones still. Anyone can, any model maker will probably make up their own one, right? But if you go to Skinwalker Ranch episode with the picture, which I've got here in the playlists, it's on the thumbnail. Skinwalker. It's always hard to find it, isn't it? Always go past it. My nose is blocking it. Tic-tac. Skinwalker, here we go. Now that playlist there is a pretty good one. Let's see. See if we get the fun now for it.
This was just part of an...
Oh. Why has that got ads coming up? That shouldn't happen. Oh, right. Because I'm using Brave, Google actually totally ignores skipped ad and all that sort of stuff on it. That's quite interesting. It's funny how it's not paused it though. Something's gone wrong here. What have they done? Oh, here we go. Wasn't that one? This one here. Third one in the list. I don't want it playing though. Just want it to pause. There you go. That's the best image I could get from that what's his name, Corbell's movie. You can see it kind of looks like it could be a drone, and it has these funny notches in it, but like the Millennium Falcon. So I'd like to get hold of that picture and do a proper job of it to see if it even looks more like a Millennium Falcon, because it makes sense that if you wanted to spy on the ranch, why not just send in the thing that looks crazy looking, so they don't think it's like a normal drone, and filming and while they're looking at it thinking it's a UFO, and then fly off before they get it. But yeah, it's on that list there, so you can go and have a watch of it. I also got one there on Nikola Tesla and how UFOs hover. Well worth looking at. And what was the other one? The Hopi Indians, as well as the pyramids. There's a pyramid playlist there too somewhere. So yeah, let's go and check out the playlists. Normally click on playlists and then created playlist, and then it displays it properly. There's a bug. There's a bug where the scrolly thing going across doesn't work, which I've talked about, and they still haven't fixed it. So if you go to all my playlists there, you can find the ones on the pyramids I did. In the list there somewhere. So let's have a look at this. Fly around a wee bit.
Like, I feel like I'm playing a video game and just watching the Millennium Falcon in like a cutscene or something.
Oh my gosh,
We
it looks
dreamed of
just
this
like
and
the
it's happening.
Falcon.
Dude,
I'm
that's
watching the
wicked.
movie right now.
See, it looks like they've modified it. They've actually put little end bits sticking out with the motors, the blades, rather than cut holes in it.
I cannot believe how scale that looks.
Maddie, how does it feel?
It's weird flying from the
Oh
right
my
side of
God,
a drone.
no.
Like I'm outside the cockpit. I'm coming down the runway, guys.
That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Dude, that looks sick. No light speed. Look
right.
at the blue lights flickering. You see that?
Yeah, that's interesting.
All right,
So,
Josh.
You haven't done the light speed yet, Josh.
Ready?
Let's fire up the front motor.
3,
That's the
2,
best
1, here we
model
go.
I've seen of it so far.
Ooh, wow.
So they got a little drone
Whoa!
here chasing
Oh my
it
God.
to film it.
Dude, I'm cooking now, dude.
You're flying!
Oh my
Front
goodness.
back.
Okay, tell me when you want full
Yeah,
throttle.
ooh, let's go through a low pass. Give me some light speed, Chewie. Get me out of here.
Oh!
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. Anyway, enough of that. On to other UFO stuff. And Ancient Aliens done with now, for the time being. So yeah, don't be hookwinked by that series anymore. They tell a lot of lies about their interpretations and don't tell you the full truth. Maybe they don't even know the science themselves. So that David Childress is the worst I've ever come across. I bet he's a millionaire from selling his books though. I'll catch up on the side comments. Okay, so that gets us on to Ronny Dawson. There's the next topic. All these people they've got to keep an eye on out there. You think that light bulb probably are just that. No, he breaks down the light bulb, the so-called big light bulb one. But although I don't fully agree that you can just put it down to just telling the story on the wall, it could actually just also represent a light bulb. And they had the technology and mining back then to actually stumble across possible power generation and lighten a filament. But how long would it last for? They certainly didn't have AC motors and generators, but they could at least hooked up probably, I think it's like 50 bad DAG batteries, and got enough amps in it to light up a bulb. But for how long, I don't know. Maybe they could scaled it up. But then again, as you can see, they had lots of pictures about moving blocks on the water, on rollers, and lots of manpower and sleds. So they had sleds as well, because the wheels would crush, right? And of course, wax and beeswax or whatever they used to make it more slippery, and animal fats probably. And that one with the helicopter and Luke Skywalker's speeder and all that has been debunked so many times now. I've got an episode about it as well. That it was actually like a repurposed tomb, which they used some sort of like a sandstone proxy resin type stuff, which obviously didn't last for 1,000 years, and it fell out, and it changed the wording or hieroglyphs into other images that we recognize today by pure chance. Pareidolia effect. How did they find out the knowledge? Well, obviously, like how we refound the knowledge. Some of the knowledge might have been lost, and then we refound it. Yeah, but the pulley one's quite an interesting one. How you can sort of double up on it, and you only need half the men to lift up the same weight, and keep on doing it. Eventually, you get down to one man can lift up 5-ton blocks with his arm. The power of mathematics, maybe, and science. But I don't believe the Egyptians were the ones that built the pyramids myself. I think they inherited the place. And I don't think the Great Pyramid was actually a death chamber, queen and king chamber myself. I think it was like a machine that made hydrogen gas, because there was actually a water channel underneath the Great Pyramid, which allows them to separate oxygen and hydrogen to gases, and they could then tap off, how they got the tap-offs going to the stars from each of the chambers. One would be for oxygen, the other one would be hydrogen at the top. They could easily have made material like silk for airships, and it could, like I said, I cover it all in my episode called Egyptian airships. Go and have a watch of it, and you can see how I break it down with the air currents. Places where it had stories of seeing gods from the sky come down, so it kind of all fits. That they could have had figured out how to split the water molecule simply by using two different metals, with the water running across the metals that would automatically create a charge and actually slowly split the gases from the water. It's really possible. A lot of stuff is found by accident, like that. What else we got here? And just carry on. Chemical Summer, are you still here? Or did I bore you? Okay, so I think Chemical Summer spends a lot of time on GUFON's channel. So Ronny Dawson has a crazy story, and he tells it in this video that's actually he's uploaded on Amazon. I'll post a link to it here. He had sex with the cat lady. Okay. Now, could he have hallucinated or been drugged? That's a possibility, but this guy really believes what happened to him, and to me, he doesn't come across credible enough. So he's got some pictures here, but we'll play the video first, and I'll see if I can find the cat lady, because I don't think it's in this particular list. But you need to see what other drawings he's got. Let's see if I can play this without infringement.
Hello, I'm Ronny.
I'm just gonna deface it a wee bit with the pitch change. Let's just try that. Oh. As if it works, I don't know if it does. What happened there? Why can't I hear him? Probably can't do it with Amazon, huh? Or have I lost sound to my headset? Hello? No, that's still working. What have I done? It doesn't like it. Let's reload it. We'll just have to take a chance. Should be public domain, really, shouldn't it?
Hello, I'm Ronny Dawson. I'm the witness in the Coleman UFO sighting on March the 2nd, 2011. I know a lot of you guys have seen the pictures and videos out there, and you guys want to know just what are you looking at. So I'm going to walk.
You asked me a question. Yeah, did you put it in orange? If you put it in orange, I see it. Otherwise, I tend to miss it. What was the question? Right, so is that the one? All you feeds now based on around UFO fakery. I know there's a lot of material. I was just wondering. Well, I think 99% of it out there is mundane, mistaken identity, with 5% of that being hoaxes. So finding that 1% generally is very hard. I think the government have got the best footage there of real aliens, and who knows, one day there's meant to be something coming out from was it New York Times, is it? It's meant to be some big announcement that they're going to release maybe some more videos, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, my live feeds on Saturdays and midweeks are generally mine to expose stuff or analyze stuff, MUFON cases, and Sundays is Rob's to do UFO Historian, where he talks about UFO cases. People generally like those ones better because there's no debunking, or hardly any debunking in it. Although he's got his FMI index where we rate it from non-believable to most credible. So he's still producing some really good multi-witness reports there, but again, there's not really good footage and photos, but credible people seeing the same thing from multiple locations. Do you cover other grounds too? What's that mean? Yeah, sometimes I just do science only stuff. I've done stuff on quantum entanglement, Big Bang. Now you just have to watch all my stuff. What else have I covered? I've covered lots of different things. If it's like Earth mysteries, science, artificial intelligence, mind control, which ain't exactly UFO stuff, is it? So, if that's what you mean, it's there, but you have to look at the titles and look at the descriptions. We started adding descriptions for at least 200 of the episodes. We break it up with chapters now, and Susan's doing those to make it easy to jump to each part in the live stream. Anyway, well, let's have a listen to Ronny. Start again.
And you guys want to know just what are you looking at. So I'm going to walk you through it tonight. Give me a few minutes of your time. I'm going to show you a picture of an actual UFO. I'm going to show you a picture of an alien in that UFO. I'm going to show you a picture of an alien mothership and some close-up stuff on the surface of that ship. So let's get this thing rolling. We'll get you through it as quick as we can.
Okay, so the problem I have is you can't see his eyes very well most of the time. He's got them mostly shut or droopy eyelids, but when he was doing the intro, he was mostly looking straight. He had rehearsed what he was going to say, so he wasn't recalling it from memory, and he wasn't recreating it at the time because he wasn't looking NLP, neuro-linguistic programming method, where you're looking to his right when he's constructing the story. So this one's not particularly useful for the body language part of it, but we'll just look at his story and his crazy claims anyway.
This is a picture of me. This is a picture of tank batteries. I essentially go up on these tank batteries. I gauge the product in here, which is crude oil. I measure it. I was standing on top of these batteries, and I took pictures of the lights in the field, and I was up on top of this battery when the ship approached me, and then I went down and hid between the tanks because it scared the hell out of me. This here is my truck. This is the truck that I drive. I purchased a crude oil in. We're out there. We work days. We work nights. And if something's going on out there at night, it's going to be guys like us that are the first ones to see it. We're going to be out in the middle of nowhere on real locations, all hours of the night. This is the top of the actual tank where the UFO was. When I first put up on this location, there was a ship that was traveling.
Okay, what tank is he talking about? They look like trees. He talking about on top of the tanker?
Above the trees, and the lights went out, and it never passed over. I knew it was out there. The lights would come on here and there. And at one point, I got a video that comes up over here, and a light takes off. I'll show you that video too. But this is the actual location. Take note of this tree. This tree is in the video of the alien spaceship with the alien in it. Okay, this is a zoomed in picture of the ship, and this is the alien right here. It either has a horn on his head or that's some kind of a helmet. And as you can see, it's a little green alien that.
Okay, so he reckons it's the alien head. Okay. Which way are we looking? Is that the two eyes there, or is he looking at this thing here? And it looks like those blurry photos that we used to get from that guy. What was his name? Snoop or something? On Twitter.
They talk about. And they say that these lights are out of focus, but the truth is that with the naked eye, these lights stretch like taffy. You can see how clear the edge of the portal is, and the lights right next to it stretchy, so like something like magnetism might cause lights to do or something. I'm going to zoom out on this picture. As you can see.
So what did that look like? It looked like a light source where it had motion blur streaking. Because he had a flip phone. So what kind of technology were you talking about then? Not particularly good. Not really high frame rate, probably.
This is the tanks I was hiding behind. These are the trees that
So can you see any tanks
I showed you
there?
earlier right here. And there's the ship.
Ship.
Now I want to show you a video right quick. And this is a light that came up off the ground and then it took off. There it went right there.
Oh my god.
I don't know what that was. Here is the video of the alien mothership that passed over.
So this is why people like him need to get experts to analyze it. You need a daytime shot to overlay the video.
I'm trying to find this thing with this little flip phone camera, which is almost impossible. Frustrating as it was. I'm going to start slow motioning it now so that you can see the ship come into view. I actually got a left-hand piece of it is all, and it has to be a quarter to a half mile big, which is really frustrating. But when you're working with the flip phone,
this has to be like a 24p flip phone video.
On the fly, it is very hard to do.
So what's these lights little blinking? Is that just low light noise?
Let me show you this thing coming in here. Here it is. Here's the left-hand piece of it, starting to come into view. As you can see right here, there's a 4-blade, looks like fan inside a dome. I'm gonna move in a little bit further and take note. You can see this venting gas or fumes, and I'll show you what that is later. After the ship is coming in horizontal. It's going to flip to a vertical position. And you can see these lights right here. I don't know if this is a probe dock, what this is. But this ship has an odd shape to it. It's like nothing that the United States Air Force has. I can guarantee it. As you can see, the ship is transitioning from horizontal to
Western Spud Cam, anyway.
From vertical to horizontal. As you can see, we're getting... And the thing is, it's a fuzzy piece of video, but in every fuzzy piece of video, as the camera lens adjusts, there is a good picture. And that what this is a good picture right here. This is a power unit. This thing was a...
And of course, I think he does some pictures of that bit up there. Claims it to be a mantis. A mantis head sticking his head out the UFO as it's flying past.
Above the ship. I don't know if it was sitting on a tower or if it simply flew above the ship itself. But there were glowing blue lines that were connected to it. As you can see, the structure... surface structure on the ship. Remember that smoke that we talked about earlier? There are 3 giant flares right here. And that smoke was coming from these flares. As you can see, this right here looks like an over and under shotgun. It's 2 huge pipes coming straight out. But the outlet on these things, we've looked closer at them and they are square, not round like you would see in typical plumbing. And there's like an alien antenna looking thing back here. And you can still see the surface structure on this stuff. It starts going out of view. And then
I'm not buying it, Ronnie.
And it don't come back to the very end of the picture.
That almost looked like he was... That almost looked like he was waving his hand in front of the camera lens to me. I don't know. It looked like a thumb finger. Let's see again.
The video, as the camera lens adjusts, there is a good picture. And that what this is a good picture right here. This is a power unit. There's a 4-blade, looks like fan inside a dome. Flip to a vertical position. And you can see these lights right here. I don't know if this is a probe dock, what this is. But this ship has an odd shape to it. It's like nothing that the United States Air Force has. I can guarantee it. As you can see, the ship is transitioning from horizontal to vertical to horizontal. As you can see, we're getting... And the thing is, it starts going out of view. And right here's where the flares are. I could tell you what it looked like. This is what the ship looked like in all. Quarter to a half mile across. All we caught in the video was about this part of it right here. but the left half of it. And right here's where the flares and stuff are. And it's crazy. You know, it looks like you could set it right on top of a pyramid. Crazy. 60 miles from a U.S. Air Force base. Jets showed up in the area, but they left before this big thing came in. And it wasn't like they were, I thought maybe they run the other ones off, but what they were doing was making sure there was no one around. And this thing come in from outer space and flew right over my location. And you've seen the video now. So hopefully it's...
How's he know it's from outer space? Not a military base. He's a funny guy. Okay, let's close that down. Okay, so these are some of the pictures he's drawn. What was that one? Him buck naked or alien buck naked? What the hell is that meant to be? Where's the arrow for the next one? Alright, so this is a drawing of his ship again, I think. And part of it is a mantis sticking out, is it? Is that strange shaped craft you see he's talking about? And he's got the image here somewhere. Where he's taken it from. Now this one here. So this is the mantis head. From that blurry image that he said was the actual ship. So he reckons that mantis is sticking his head out. And if you use a bit of pareidolia, I suppose you can see it looks like an eye there. Well, it looks like an eye there, and it looks like an eye there. And there it looks like the mouth coming down. Let's see, has he got it drawn? Here we go. He's trying to put ideas in our head. He reckons there's an arm coming around. These are arms, is it? It looks more like antennas to me. Antennas coming out the head. Good, eh? So much for good UFO pictures. Imagine if that was HD and it was actually true. But this doesn't make me want to believe his story. Whether he's hoaxing it or he really believes it, I don't know. And 2011, another triangle craft this time. That's not the same shape he was talking about. So he's keeps seeing them from that, I guess. Now, as an oil-filled worker, I assume he's just drives an oil truck around. To me, I'd like to see do a background check on him, because I know a lot of these oil workers do have a past, you know, criminal records. But we need all the details of his birth date and all that to be able to do that. Yeah. And just see if he's been caught for check fraud or anything like that, where you could say, maybe he's not telling the truth here, and maybe he lost his job or something. Created a crazy story to try and sell it as a movie. So it looks like he's into ghost orbs as well, by looks of it. He seems to be amping that up. And what else we got? The Predator. But he hasn't got any pictures here of what's that one? Is that meant to be a sphere? Oh, right. He's right into bit spheres. This is one of these things they use in oil pumps, oil wells, for what they call it, a ball valve, which controls the flow of the pressure from the oil or gas release and stuff like that. They use them in the mining industry in those size piping they use. But he's saying it's alien technology, so that's the main reason I think he's a BSer. He knows it's not alien technology. He knows it's typical man-made parts, and they sort of end up in dumps and scattered around the fields of Texas there. But yeah, we got Ronny. You can look up Ronny Dawson and find lots more pictures. Yeah. Well, UFO Proof, we know, has got a new guilty plea for stolen good trafficking from 2019. That is still yet to be processed for coming back to court for final outcome, which has been postponed because of C-19 bollocks of it. But yeah, you can go and look it up on the Mojave database. You can still get to it, but the main database that used to link to it is offline for maintenance at the moment. It's quite an interesting report. It's got 3 reports with his name on it, and I think they're all his, and I think he was using a fake ID on 2 of them for driving without a license, and both of them, no one showed up for court for both of those ones, and I think that was him using a fake ID. Not quite all his right details and home address, of course. And the other ones were for driving offences again, and didn't he used to have a car? Did he sell it? Or was it, when they compound your car, they probably crush it, don't they? Or sell it on. They do in New Zealand if you're driving without a license. But yeah, I'd like to do a check on this Ronny guy too. Ronny, come on, Paul, get it right. Ronny Dawson, still haven't got it. Maybe my sugar levels are dropping and not seeing properly. Dawson. So he had sex with the cat lady. I need to adjust myself so I can type better. Cat lady sex. See what comes up. I think you can find it quite easy. I think you have to put UFO in probably. It's amazing what crap comes up. Damn it. UFO. Damn it. I hate this keyboard. Maybe he didn't call her. Maybe he called her Tiger Lady. Ronny. Why is it not coming up? I know I searched it before. He's got a Wikipedia page and he's got them posted as well. Ronny Dawson. Tiger, maybe. I haven't discounted his story that he may have been pranked or drugged. And maybe one of these guys that sees UFOs everywhere, you know. Why is it not coming up? UFO maybe. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so this is his alien proof. There's ship pictures. Alright, here we go. The alien that he had sex with. Let's see if we can get it up. Why is it so big? Scale it down a bit. Experience sketch gallery. Oh, so not exactly attractive. So I'm not sure if that's another one or the first one. She even wears high heels by the looks of it. I wonder if we can get it smaller. Going bigger now. Stupid web page full of ads. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Tiger lady. Now there's the mantis. I'll post a link to it so you can have a look. Ronny, you're a funny guy. I don't think Alien Addict showed these ones, did he? Did he show the pictures? I don't remember seeing them. But it looks like all of them there. But yeah, the cat lady reminded me of... Let's see if we can open up the full tab. Do it properly, there we go. She ain't got 6 nipples. So, but you can see how that could be like a woman, I don't know, dominatrix, or maybe some crazy lunatic that drugs him in a pub and then dresses up because in animals, you know, the people out there likes animals, and had sex with them, and then he thinks it's was a UFO abduction. You know, you could see how it could go down, couldn't you? So you can get these cat suits, tiger. I don't know. Is it female costumes? I've talked about this on Twitter, but you can see here we got lots of images that a lot of people like it for sexual play. So we can go through all of them here and see which one matches this one. That one's not too bad. It has even the face add-ons, is it? We've got the ears. So that one could be a possibility. That one maybe, but it's not as good as that first one. There you go, with makeup on. So I haven't seen any ones with the titties hanging out. But you can see where I'm going with this. It's a possibility that he was given a date drug. Oh, here we go. These ones look similar to his one. Where is it? Similar design, you know. It's got the same patterns going across the legs. Could cut the tops open so the boobies hang out, I suppose. Well, there might be a variation of it, but yeah. And what do you think on that possibility? That something really did happen to him, but not the way he thinks it happened. Tigress of Hunter Games, you reckon? There's a long way to go before it shows up on Expedia. What's that? I have a question. Have to apologize for my neo science. Need to watch more videos on your channel. Is there any video footage or other evidence you rate as possible real? I think Mojo's video that I analysed is real. A lot of people don't. I'm probably the only one that actually thinks maybe that he didn't hoax it. That it's actually quite well done if he hoaxed it. And he should come clean if he hoaxed it, because he should be given credit for making such a fantastic video job. A lot of people think it's for flashing lights in a forest or fire trucks and stuff. Although you can take certain frames and sort of match up lights and stuff, the way it sort of pulses the red light along and down, if you watch my episode, I actually overlay all the images to see where all the lights are, and it starts to form a shape of less likely fire trucks or ambos, but more fits with a regular Mexican hat's flying saucer shape. But yeah, just have to go and watch it. It's on the home page. Other UFO stuff. Tic Tac maybe. Certainly the UFO stories are real. The footage I'm not too 100% sure on. But whether it's what Mick West is saying is possible still, I can't discount it. But it still could be a Tic Tac with little fins on it as well. But that does look very much like a F-18 thermal image. But real images, certainly not the NASA ones. They're all explained. What else have we got footage of? Not really much at all. I can't think. What else? Apart from credible sightings and friends and family talking about ones I've seen, classic flying saucers from a short distance away, where they can't make no mistake what they're seeing. So yeah, I do believe the real ones are out there, and I believe since the sightings of those ones I've heard about back in the 90s, that it was way beyond our technology back then. And if we had that sort of technology, then there should be rolling heads, because that kind of technology could have replaced all the planes that we use nowadays, and space flight, and all the poison that we add to the skies through oil. So someone's got to be accountable if they've been hiding that technology from us. So yeah, I do believe there are real ones out there, but I also believe there's some experimental man-made science ones using 10 San Brown's idea of high voltages, and that's why you get the humming sound. I think maybe the flying wedges probably ours, and it's using Townsend Brown's technology. There's an episode, a documentary I made on him. Go and have a watch of that. It's also on the homepage. So yeah. So you wanted to type in Hunter Games. So let's see. I know we're chewing up time here, but hopefully it's not too boring. To Hunger Games, is it? Yeah, not Hunter Games, Hunger Games. Costumes, okay. Yeah, I don't think there's any tiger ones, you see. But he also talked about little old men with really crinkly skin, you know, that weren't exactly alien greys. I think that's what he talked about on Alien Addicts interview. And the only one I've heard about little grey, crinkly old men have been two other stories, which don't fit with UFO technology as such. One of them was a guitar player in a club was sitting down at the end of the night, 3 in the morning or something, and some bright light appeared and out popped all these little gnomes, little walking men, a bit like you see on Blade Runner, I guess, with crinkly old men faces on them, and they just were marching through the pub, and a portal opened up on the other side, and they passed through, and the last one in the row turned around and looked at them. That's meant to be a credible person, credible story. No reason to make it up, because that's sort of like a career-ending sort of story, isn't it? And the other one was it Pat Walker that told his story on SOR, talking also about not being typical alien greys, but little old wrinkly skinned old men. So, yeah, I suppose that's possible, but are they really aliens in that case? Or could they be like these things they talk about in Iceland or Norway, where they got these demon trolls that live underground, come above and then capture you and take you away, that sort of thing. Yeah, so I'm not too sure what that one is. Is that the extreme leader or something? But where's the picture of the crinkly old men in this? See, I always have a problem with someone that sees this, sees UFOs all the time, you know, and tries to sell book on Amazon. Sort of discredits the story, doesn't it? Trying to make money from it like that. So I don't know. Does it say how much he's selling it for? Can you actually put stuff on Amazon for free? I don't think Amazon would do it for free. You still got to pay postage, isn't you? About Ronny Dawson. What's it say here? Lives in Ranger, Texas, so you could probably use that for background search. He is a hazardous material transport operator. Although if you read the other things, they talked about him being an oil field worker. He witnessed odd lights in rural locations. He witnessed a cattle abduction firsthand. So he seems to have too much going on. He became aware that lights are from an alien origin. Lights seem to always show themselves, especially when he was in rural locations. So why haven't he got any HD footage now then? He convinced a friend to help him record the craft and laser experiment to test the craft's propulsion system. Goes to bending the fabric of space. So that again is as I talked about, space-time nonsense. In the test, Dawson fired a 250 milliwatt green laser. Was that particularly big? I thought my one's a 1 watt. I think you can get 5 watts ones. That's not really particularly big, is it? His friend, being awestruck at the sight of the UFO, failed to record the historic event. See, and why wasn't he reporting it to MUFON and getting them to set up the location, see if they come back? Next night, the aliens paid Dawson a visit in his home in Ranger. They held him hostage. Sounds like the goblins, doesn't it? Well, they ransacked his home until they reached the point. So how many other abduction cases ransack homes. Doesn't make any sense. Point where the laser was stored. Lawson was fully conscious but unable to move. That sounds like a date rape situation, doesn't it? He was held in place by some invisible force. He watched helplessly as 3ET, he described as insect-looking. Pretty sure he talked about them being old men. Ran about the house searching for laser. Why would they be searching for the laser? A year later to the day, Dawson was approached at work. This time he managed to catch photos and a video of the craft, which was seen. The craft approached within 50 feet of Dawson, and he couldn't get a decent picture, and sent him into hiding. Watching, where did it go to? Watching from his hiding spot, too scared to move, Dawson captured another image of a being looking from an opening under the disc. Dawson watched in horror, waiting for something to come rushing at him. From the darkness, to his relief, the disc backed away and the sound of a military fighter jet could be heard. Of course, they videotaped that after, did they? The craft blinked out and the jet passed directly over the spot. Okay. Where do I get to? Passed overhead. Looked like a solid rock with a city embedded onto the surface. Eh? Dawson grabbed his cell phone to capture another picture. This time the craft was enormous. It passed over Dawson's head for over a minute. Looked like solid rock with a city embedded onto it, the surface. It had to be at least half a mile in length. Dawson could see the craft clearly, but the phone display screen showed nothing but black. It was massive and completely silent. You think other people would see this too, wouldn't you? Air could be seen rushing over the surface of the craft. As the craft accelerated, Dawson panicked at missing this opportunity, pointed the eye of the camera at the craft. As it accelerated away and blinding speed, the craft suddenly flipped and revealed its top side and began coming. Where's this gone? I missed it. Coming back to Dawson, it made a large 180-degree circle and was just a spot in the stars in a matter of seconds. Dawson finished his job and headed back to town. A couple of miles down the road, Dawson saw a huge triangle opening with lights. So he's seen everything, this guy. Hovering over a rural home, Dawson stopped the truck and blowed the horn. Shined his spotlight on the home and the craft. The craft slowly began to pull away. Dawson could see inside the UFO's triangular opening. So wouldn't the homeowners also say that was true? It had the most amazing array of plumbing. Turbo-like piping on the walls, almost like a skeletal structure. The footage Dawson captured on the walls almost like a skeletal structure. Hang on, I missed my place. The footage Dawson captured on the night is some of the strangest UFO alien images ever captured. Well, blurry mess, yeah. The aliens made random appearances in Dawson's home. And in August 2017, not too far away, made a formal greeting by pulling Dawson from his sleeping body for an important conversation and gave Dawson a brief look at their world through the Stargate. So it's got a Stargate in it too. Dawson put his story in a book entitled Ronny Dawson's UFO Story on Barnes & Noble. Appeared on an experiential panel, NBC, First Look November 2018. His story has been featured on several international news, Inquisitor, Blasting News, Metro News, and was featured on an episode of Caught on Camera. Japanese TV. So, do you believe that or not? What do you think out there? Deep fake technology. So, there's too much going on in that for me to really believe it. Oscam's razor, you know. Where the story gets too elaborated and happens regularly. 2017, you should have a really good camera on the phone by then. No flip camera now. So yeah, we'll leave it there and carry on to the next topic. Who's with us still? Looks like a few dropped off. Who we got here? That's what I've been saying, Chemical. Looks like he could have been on drugs, huh? But I think maybe he got drugged and people just wore costumes and went into his house, ransacked it, having a party, you know, and maybe stole stuff, who knows. From many sources, didn't check their credibility, is pretty interesting. They said it's silencing the sound of the whole area when it flies over you. Okay. Well, we're not denying that the triangles have not been seen. There's a lot of credible witnesses out there. But we still don't know if they're alien technology or man-made technology, and that's the whole problem. And I'm pretty sure Trump probably has the information. My tongue is swollen. I must have bit it again. I thought for a long time Skinny Bob could be real. But when I watched it again and again, I recognised the quick head turn looks so digital without acceleration, instant moving. Well, if you go and watch my Skinny Bob Debunked, I actually pull it all bits for you. So just go to my magnifier next to the About tab and just type in Skinny Bob and you'll find the episodes where I break it down for you. Yeah, why would they think the laser was there? Because he shined it at them and then he hid it in the kitchen drawer. And what would a little milliwatt laser do? Error. Susan must have clicked it. Are you there, Susan? Did I see Susan here? I haven't seen Susan pop up for a while. Way at the top there. Yeah, I found digital artifacts in it, which were errors in the CGI making. It was actually a big sequence of it flying overhead and crashing and all that sort of stuff. It was separate, 7 separate videos and then joined together. So it looked like various CGI artists worked on each section. And the story was that a woman hired the company that was with Dr. Greer's disclosure group. Surprise, surprise. She admitted to Grant Cameron that it was her behind it. But people won't believe it. They think it's a cover-up story. Just like all things in UFO field, everyone thinks it's shills or government agents, duties, I mean, telling lies and stuff, you know. So he's had another experience on called Dolly from UK, and I watched the interview and her body language, and it was a bit hard because she had glasses on reflecting. But to me, for someone that had a frightening experience with aliens. She seemed to joke a lot, and she kind of did the NLP where she looks quite upwards and left a wee bit here and there as well, where she was constructing stuff, especially when she was saying she knows everybody, Elon Musk, and knows everything, knows all these different aliens and all this sort of stuff, and it's again too much to be believed. It's too much in one story, embellished over the years. And since they run a website with 16,000 subscribers, and once you start looking at some of the clickbait they've got on here, you realize it's really about trying to make a living from it, or extra cash. And so here we got SpaceX, right? Anomaly caught on camera. It's just again ice crystals breaking off or forming as the vapor of the rocket engine is fired. And it's just absolutely nonsense. And you can see they've got quite a few views on it for a small channel. 5,000.
Writing's not that easy, but Grammarly can help. This sentence...
So why are we still getting ads? They got round Brave's block, have they? They're dirtbags, aren't they? I'd have to put the ad blocker on because they got round the shield. I reckon there's 0. Has Google finally got around ad blocker, maybe? They just rolled it out overnight. Can we skip that somehow? There's no skip button. That's downright terrible if you can't skip ads after 5 seconds. What am I going to do? Let me just open their channel up in the other browser. So like I said, things are always changing and always mess you up eventually. It's really annoying. Yeah, we're meant to be talking about that tomorrow, I think. Have to see what Robert's got lined up. I'm not sure if he's posted anything in Discord yet, or if he's watching even. Okay, that one looks like it's at least pausing. And no ads, I think. Ooh, scary music. So once I read Mars, Moon, Space, TV, I start thinking of, oh no, another street cap.
Hi guys out there, this is Thomas and Dolly from Mars, Moon, Space TV. We are back today with a historic video.
Yeah, SpaceX launched from the famous platform A39, the Falcon 9 Dragon capsule that is manned, and it's going off up there into the International Space Station to do historic things and hopefully change human history.
But it's not analysed properly and all that.
The stars, but
there was something.
We spotted.
Forward it to 6 minutes into the launch.
Here. You might not see it at first.
At 6:03 in, you will see.
There it is. There it goes.
Object here.
Did you see it?
I saw it. Yeah, I saw it. Let's have a look at it again, guys.
Oh, we saw it.
There you go.
Again, and I thought, is it just
and you saw the engine.
Or is it? Are planes allowed in the area?
No. Planes wouldn't be that quick, or that. No, that's quick.
It's
really
quick. Really quick. What do you guys out there think?
You can see it's just terrible. You can see the engine firing their vapors and turning into ice crystals and spinning off, right?
I don't think it's an aeroplane. I don't.
It's just silly. And yet they're making money from it. Let's see, can we see the ice crystal? There's their rocket. And it'll be forming ice crystal. Oh, here they come. Amazing what they look for nowadays for UFOs. No sermon. Terrible. Terrible editing. It's here. It's here. Where? There it is. Couple of pixels ice block. Ridiculous, really. Oh. That's right, I have to go back to the main page. Been given a sandwich here. Bacon sandwich again. And what else we got? Lunar base. Did NASA purposely leave a lunar base? So you know what that's going to be. It's going to be rocks. Or you can see here straight away stitching errors. Well, stitching of many images together. What they're saying.
Here. Of upright objects standing in a circle.
Yeah, rocks.
They seem to be standing upright, perfectly there in that circle. And we have a little entranceway just there. But what's more amazing is the tracks that are running.
The tracks caught our eyes.
From
so
this.
Yeah.
This has caught my attention. What are these tracks?
Well, from what I'm seeing there, we got no elevation concept here from looking straight down. To me, it looks like there might have been a meteorite impact and some rocks fell down and rolled down into a crater, creating tracks. Doesn't look like any tracks that you've seen from NASA's pictures of left behind by the rover. This just looks like a boulder that's rolled down, and the soil on the moon is like talcum powder. It's going to leave dents in it, crystallized. It's almost like glassy silicone stuff. And if it's hot, it could melt the track into the landscape as well, which you get with a meteorite impact.
NASA's own image will leave you with the link to NASA's picture, so you can go straight to it and have a look at it for yourself and verify.
The thing is, we don't know anything about the picture. It could even be a landed site for a rover. It looks to me like just some bright white rocks there that's really reflective to me, but it could be leftover debris. Is that the lunar module there? You know, we just don't know because it's not properly analysed. You need to search up the records, what the mission was, what the photo was about. And you're not going to see it from those grainy images from 1,000 feet or 10,000 feet above the moon's surface. What else we got? Okay, underground structure exposed on Mars. Ancient ruins. Oh, here we go. The Anunnaki in the Mars. Let's have a look at that one.
And UFO. I am here today to share a couple of from a guy called Amazing Places on Our Planet. I'll put the link down there below. But I'm looking in here and I'm looking at ancient structures on the earth that's in Petra in Jordan, and I'm absolutely blown away by their architecture. And what's more amazing is that this place is in the middle of nowhere, in the desert, in an isolated area with the most magnificent carvings, and looking at pictures and just
so you're going to compare it to Mars now
and trying to correlate what I see in pictures, as in angles, geometric shapes, symbols. I look for what's similar to what I can understand, what my mind can
Pareidolia, yeah.
And when I go into places like Petra on the earth in Jordan and look at the astounding, I also do research megalithic.
Okay.
Some seem
here we go. Mars, is it?
Concrete moldings, what look like they've been cast in concrete molds. And we talk about the Anunnaki and the Yajiji, and
just look like rocks to me, and we know that Mother Nature does some amazing stuff, right? Forms, it does form angles on rocks, but you notice that these ones that she's looking at is always on one side only. It's not like not like you're getting on the Ancient Alien debunks with the blocks. It's always on one end. So if you look at this one here again, you can see here that it's not a block. And it's probably, if you have a look closely at this one, looks like it's got some data error. See here? It looks like a line going across and down there. It's a stitched error, so it's overlaid on the incorrect location. Or it's lost some data here. It makes it look square. And you can see here, this edge here is not straight at all going this way. This looks like it's a missing data, right? Looks like some slight stitching errors there. And that looks like some missing data here. So it forms a block.
Cuts to the rocks. Some seem concrete moldings, what look like they've been cast in concrete molds.
Okay, so how's that going to be concrete mold, that one? It looks like maybe part of a comet that's broken away, you know, how the outside of it's curved a wee bit, maybe. Crashed into the surface and smashed apart.
And we talk about the Anunnaki, and it's nicknamed the Road.
Of course, Ancient Alien Debunked talks about the Anunnaki, and it's nothing like what these people are pushing.
City. It's now Moses or way before BCE, 100 years. Take a look at a similar structure that is also here at Petra. Take a look yourself, guys.
Yeah, what are we meant to be comparing
And
it to?
structures. I found a structure that is also here at Petra. Take a look yourself.
Where's the Mars comparison?
The museum in Oxford, in UFO.
Oh, here we go. So what are we trying to compare? It looks like a data glitch again. Looks like some coloration has got lost. And the shadow there isn't correct. You got to remember they'd have a camera that spins around taking various shots and then they'd join it together. But yeah, it could be transmission error.
1454, and you can go in there and take a look at a similar structure that is also here.
No, I'm not convinced. She's no expert on photographs. So what else we got? So we've got another block. Again, we're only seeing one side of it. And we know that Mother Nature does make blocks, you know. Mother Nature, natural blocks, rock blocks. Depends what the material's made of, like crystals, salts. Let's have a look, see what we can find. Man-made walls. I was looking for something natural. There we go. Rock blocks. Is that Mother Nature or man-made though? Volcanic rocks. I bet there's some square edges in this lot. Because they're formed when it's really molten rock, granite. That one kind of looks like it's straight. Not the best image though. What else we got? Must be a better way to search natural rocks. 90 degrees. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, it's ancient man chipping away at it. We're looking for natural. That's the wrong degrees. We're not getting what we want. Let's see, right angle. Natural rock, right angle. Oh, that's spelt wrong. I corrected it. Okay, so what have we got here? Right angle boulder. Does sort of have sharp edges on it. There's no one. Is that natural though? We're not too sure. Monster rock. And of course we got the place that creates those hexagon rocks in Ireland, I think it is. Landscape painting. Yeah, I'm not getting the images I wanted. I have come across them before on the landscape. Let's see. I think it's Ireland or Scotland. Ireland. Hexagon rocks. Oh, here we go. These ones here all form naturally. See, you can see the straight edges on them. See that? Because crystals tend to do that in rocks. And if you just had one of those buried under sand, right? If you just saw one of the corners on one of these sticking out, you think, oh, that's man-made. But it's all natural. I've got lots of pictures here of them. Looks like they've been designed and fitted together, but they're all natural. So yeah, anyone that says, oh look, it's got to be man-made because of the angles. No, I don't believe it. Look, here we go. That looks like straight edges. From that perspective, right? So the hexagon on top, but straight edges on them. Yeah, if you saw that in a Mars picture, you'd know, oh right, we got that on Earth, compare it to. Another one there. Looks like it's man-made, but it's not. Another location with these square chunks underneath on a seaside somewhere. Well, it's in the same location, but not quite the hexagon shapes. Just amazing, really, isn't it? But you get what I mean, and you probably could find lots of other examples like that. So, BS on that one. There are cube ones. I have come across them before. Anyway, I'll just keep looking at the videos here. I think MUFON's going to suffer again today. How are we going for time? We haven't got quite to MUFON again. Let's see. New International Space Station UFO. Let's have a look at that one. I suspect I'm probably going to get some copyright claims on today's show. I've used quite a lot of videos here, which weren't just entirely from YouTube channels. Some were actually uploaded from, looks like a DVD. It was the Ancient Alien one, and plus it had those clips from Ancient Aliens. They'll probably try and ban my video because it has the clips in it. That's the problem with the contact ID system. They can detect it and say, oh, it's not allowed to be seen now in New Zealand or Australia, and straight away your video is not available. So no one learns from it. So what are they saying here?
On the ISS space station that the cameras are pointing at, And the reason I choose to take you into the darkness here and leave you here for another 30 seconds is because I wanted you to see what is in the picture before it gets dark. Here you can see where I have the video from, as it said uploaded 4 hours ago. So this video is actually, or light that you will see is actually recorded today, January the 13th. I have to say that I have speeded this recording up to twice its normal space station. My first thought was that it was some of those objects that we saw in the beginning of the video that could have some kind of reflection to it, and it would be normal.
Stupid music. Yeah, not exciting, is it? Could it be a satellite below? Could it be city lights? Is it paused? What, you know? What's going on in this video? Is it just reflection of the sun off parts of the International Space Station, which a lot of them tend to be? Is it ice crystal floating around? So yeah, beginning of the episode, he reckons. So what are we looking at? Looks like it's in darkness, is it? So it'd probably be city lights, probably. Oh, what's that flash? What's that talking about? Is it the sun going down? Or the sun coming up? Or the outside lights have been turned off in the station or something? I don't know. Doesn't mean anything. So what are we meant to be looking at? They see UFOs everywhere. I tell you, it's just rubbish. I saw some, like, it looked like mist almost, right? Water vapor. Oh, there we go. Sun again? No sun again. I don't know what he's trying to show. A flash of light. And you can see almost like a misty ness to it. So that's got to be a rocket engine firing, surely. What happens is International Space Station actually corrects its orbit. So it fires rockets, I'm not sure if it's computerized or manual, to try and correct the orbit. So, because it's always continuously falling towards Earth. And probably what you're seeing there are the crystals. I think it was changing directions. That's what he was trying to say. So every time a thruster is fired, it's going to affect the orbit of a bit of ice that's floating around in front of the camera. Whereabouts was it going? You can see it looks like it's tumbling. And it's pushed away. Yeah, it looks like it gets pushed away. But I'm not sure where that was in the original picture. But totally pointless. And you can see a lot of these ones are going to be these rocks, right? Pyramids. Square shapes. What's that one? Anunnaki. And Antarctic Mystery. Unknown base. We know it's not unknown, it's a German summer base. So yeah, 10 months ago, almost 2,000 views there. Captured on cam in space. Well, we could look at all those ones, I suppose. Not this one again. Triangle-shaped object we know as city lights below. And this one's pretty much on every fraud UFO channel out there, and they don't tell you the truth. Can't even read the writing there. What was he saying? How can it be city lights when the spaceship's lit up? Well, it can. I've already proven it. Okay, these ones. So again, that could be the space ice that broke off while they were filming. There's nothing to say that's UFO in any way. It doesn't sort of stop and then zoom off in that direction without the rocket engines firing. So oh god, it's got to be reflection in the window. Flying object was filmed by onboard camera believed to be ice particles. Well, must be that thing they're talking about there. Which we just talked about them correcting orbit with firing rockets that you don't see on frame here. And of course you're going to get little flashy bits of ice. Normally you could tell ice that sort of flickers. Looks like it's sort of flickering. There must have been some engine ignition there. Did I see a flash of gas? See, so there's flash there. See the flash? They fired off some engine there. Now it's got some more energy from the thrust. Yeah, what's this from? What was that one? Again, looks like space ice, doesn't it? Look how bad the footage was back then. You can see some other particles coming this direction, so it looks like there's something firing off frame there that pushed the ice particle to bend it around, change its orbit. You can just see it. It's what you don't see on off the frame that makes the difference. And are they moving away from it, or is that passing by? This is another question, see. Yeah, I just don't like these. See, it's doing a curve move, which is natural for Mother Nature, right? Science. It's not like it stopped and then suddenly come forward and then went left and then suddenly right and crazy stuff like that. Which then you could probably say, that doesn't fit Mother Nature. So it looks like I might have to do another mid-week one to catch up on the MUFON stuff again. this one here, I think it's going to be a reflection of part of the space station over here. What are we meant to be looking at? Was that the one with the blob that comes up in the middle? First object appeared and then disappears, but they don't tell you it's taken over multiple hours unless the sun's rotating. But yeah, I can't see it on that. They haven't done a really good editing job at all, have they? Oh, there you go. Is that pixel? It's probably a reflection off here into the lens over here as the sun's coming. And it's fading. I'm not seeing anything. That was pretty crappy footage. What was the other ones? I suppose we should be wrapping up soon. Ancient ruins. One year ago. Oh no, it's not the black knight, is it? Let's see. This is what I really hate. People promoting the same BS. Oh, not that one. Room Lake Mystery. You know they're always digging around there and building stuff for the experimental craft. I bet that's Black Knight one. Let's have a look at that one. Let's go through it. Okay, that's obviously... is it different pictures? I think that looks like a bit of lint on the film. It's hard to know. What's that one? Looks kind of suspect on it. But that could be a piece of space junk. I don't think it's Black Knight, is it? It's rotating? It could be. No. Well, it looks like a chunk of metal. Ripped off from an explosion. It could be one of those silvery bags they have around for insulation that got away. They sort of have that sort of look to it. You'd have to look at the images to see what they're photographing. Has he got the links? Oh yeah, looks, that is the installation thing. They say it's Black Knight satellite. As a image taken from the International Space Station. Well, I must admit I haven't seen that particular sequence before. Original source. Why is it not to NASA though? Let's have a look. It's just another website they're taking it from. We know it's just an insulation bag, silvery. Kind of looks like a chunk of metal, but it's not. It's just a crinkled up, like tin foil. Now I don't know if that's real or not, or if someone's played around with it. Or if it's something else. That one looks a bit suspect to me. You can see it deforming there as it's rotating around. It's a Klingon. It's gotta be. It's gotta be something else, surely. So yeah, I'm not too sure where the footage is from. But I bet they explain it, whether it's the Black Knight or not. But it doesn't look like a UFO to me. It looks like junk of some kind. Whatever it is. Area 51. It didn't click. Keep on going down, let's have a look. Baltic Sea anomaly. We know it's just a rock. Best of Mars ruins. Oh no. It's not the Black Knight again, is it? 3 years ago. Concrete bunker. NASA's new rover. Or at least that might be legit news. Now what have we got else here? It's all rocks, rocks, and more rocks. Bunker again. Evidence of life on Mars. Okay, let's have a look at that one. Okay, so where's the evidence? Is that meant to be a tree stump, is it? Petrified tree stump. But we've just seen a load of rocks that go vertical. And also if you blast them over millions of years, the chips are going to come off it. So it could be like a crystal growth. And the winds of Mars are slowly etched away. Is that all we got? Oh no, I got another one. Was it? Or was it the same one? Different angle. No. Okay, where's the life? Oh, it's the same one again. So it might only be 2 inches tall or inch tall. We don't know any scale on this picture at all. There's the other problem. Looks like it's a small rock to me because there's the landscape, right? These are going to be little small rocks. 2 to 3 inches big. So that one wasn't very exciting. Okay. I suppose I better start wrapping up. What else we got? Skim, skim, skim. A road. Okay. Could it be where the rover's been? Okay, this is the road. Optical illusion. Looks like a layer of rock on a cliff face to me. You can see here that the sky is not red. It's actually very light. Now, so this would be in the normal colours on Mars. The soil's red, different types of browns and greys. Yeah, those tickets are road. Okay, what else we got? I've been over that one before. The Concorde one, we've done that one too. Looks like as you go back further in time, it gets worse. Golden spirals from Denmark. Dolly and Thomas on Mars radio. This is terrible. Oh no. Yeah, as you go back further in time, it gets worse and worse. Another brick in the wall. Oh no. More bricks. Finally got to the end. No, still going. 4 years. Egyptian secrets. 4 years, still going. Red Sun debunked. Oh, they actually got a debunk video. Does that just add some credibility? I suppose they lost some subs when they did that one. Martian built pyramids. Yeah, Martians now. UFO crash site on Mars. So it just keeps on going. 4 years. Yeah, it's still going. 5 years. Is that the end? No, it's still going. Mars robot. What's that one? Crash site. Animal skull. Dinosaur. Okay, let's have a look at that one. Oh. Okay. Where is it? Alright, so what are we looking at, people? Kinda looks like a rock with a lot of cracks and things in it. And some of these white pebbles and stuck in the groove. They're saying they're teeth. So there's the eye of the dinosaur. You can see what they're thinking. And that's meant to be the mouth with teeth. So what's that bit underneath? Is it meant to have two mouths, maybe? It's ridiculous. How many views did they get on that one? 22,000 views. Hey, honest people. Comments turned off. Yeah, I don't like sites that have their comments turned off. It means they got something to hide. So going back to the top again. Has to. Stuff it. So when did they start their channel? Just before me, and they've got almost 4,500 million views. And I've only got 150,000 views, and they got 4,500,000. So that's the difference between putting up junk and putting up truth. Junk draws in people want to see these dinosaur heads. Anyway, yeah, I won't promote this site for them. If you want to go and check it out, Google their name. That's all I did. I think we better wrap it up there. I've probably gone over time. So yeah, hopefully you guys introduced it and enjoyed it. I mean. Yeah, there's plenty of space junk up there. Was it? There's like 5,000 satellites up there, and I'm pretty sure they're tracking like 10,000 junk pieces. You know, bolts and lost crescent spanners and screwdrivers that the astronauts drop out their fingers because they're in space. I suppose you could look it up. Have I still got it open? Yeah. And also I'm going to have to add ad blocker on there. Let's see. Let's do it now. Ad blocker for Brave. I don't really want to update Brave because the latest version screws up other things. And let's see. Ad blocker Chrome. That the one? That's the one. Shouldn't have to do that though. Let's see if it gets rid of the problem. More crap I have to add. There it is. Okay, does it solve the problem? Let's just check. Looks like it. Got rid of the ad. Unless that works, you know. But it's just another annoyance. And more processing power is needed. Why is it not moving? There it is. On full screen. It disappears there. That's fixed. There's probably the other crap we got here. Yeah, so what's the space junk? What's that one? Oh, ads. That's probably got rid of that problem. Oh, yeah. Let's got rid of the rest of that junk. It's looking better too now. Okay, space junk. Real time space junk. Let's see, we've got a map. Stuff in space. Downloading resources. I'm supposed to have like a map of the Earth of everything rotating around. Oh, there we go. Can we zoom out? There we go. That's all the space junk at different orbit levels. Falcon, what was that one? So that's pretty good. You can put it on the pixels. Here we go. And that's just, is that space junk or is that satellites? I think that might be satellites. So which one's a junk? What was that one? Viking? I thought one said it was a tank, a rocket tank. Don't get it now. Oh, here we go. It was there. F-star. Yeah, I like that. I'll copy it to the side. Space junk. I should really have it on the bookmark. Real time. I'll have a look at the other link too, I think. There you go, you got me sidetracked again. So I can add it to the panel here. There's another thing that might come in handy one day again. Why is it not coming up? We've got a blank script. Oh, that would do. Stuff in blue. I can't snap it because it's using some code of some sort. Alright, let's go back out. What was the other one? NASA's. Let's see what they got. They got a slightly different map. But it doesn't seem to be real time, is it? Not as good as the other one. Yeah, so any of those fragments could pass through the International Space Station, cause a hole in the gas leak. You can see it could be a major problem if you didn't track it. Somehow they need like rubbish trucks in space that go around there and attract it with magnets or something and sucks it into a thing, crushes it and sends it off down to Earth or something. But you want to recycle, really. Probably best to send it off to Mars or the Moon and use it for building stuff, right? You could probably heat it up and then make it into I don't know, basis, I guess. Anyway, better stop yapping. And I'll say good night to you guys. Thanks for joining us, liking. Oh, we got up to 13. I wonder how many dislikes we got. Thanks for watching. Because we've got Robert tomorrow with UFO cases with credible witnesses. I'm not too sure what he's doing. Might have to check, see if he's posted anything up yet. Thanks for watching, liking, commenting. Not many people comment on the videos themselves, and also remember to sub my other alternative video channels. Even if you don't want to upload, because then I can get the benefits of uploading stuff there without having to pay as well. Let me just quick check Discord. I don't know if Robert's been around or not. Not seeing anything. Right, Susan reckons I should mention Subscribe Star. Better way to donate. Well, you can add that to your links to post on the chat, I guess, Susan. Yeah. Patrons now charging GST and all sorts of stuff on memberships, so you have to increase your prices, or I was just reading another post here and lost my way. But anyway, before my mind goes completely, I better end it. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night, everybody. And Robert hasn't posted anything. There we go. We're hyper jumping into space. To the Up There channel. Hey, Jinso Cash, it was good seeing you. Yeah, it's really rare to see you. Normally asleep. I'll go and get some rest. Good night, Ken. KSP. Susan, I'll probably see you on Discord later. Chemical, see you later. Well, any of you guys can show up on Discord for after show chat, but I'll be busy processing, tidying up today's show and see if I get any copyright claims. Yay! I didn't get any donations today. Boo! But yeah, it was fun and I quite enjoyed that today. Poor Ronnie.